Hey everybody! Today's a big planting day for me. Our weather has finally turned the corner enough where our winds for the week are not crazy. At least they're not forecasted to be crazy. And I have acclimated all the plants that I grew from seed in the garage under grow lights. And so now we've got quite a few things to plant. A lot of peppers, tomatoes, and other things. So here we go. And here they all are. Peppers, tomatoes, lots of peppers, and just a few flowers left. So this is mostly for my vegetable garden. And we're going to be direct sowing some seeds, particularly some squash today. I just want to show you what I'm starting with. So these are my beds. And if you see a lot of debris, if you want to call it debris, this is what I do at the end of each season. I actually take all of my plants that I've grown in the garden, and instead of tossing them in the compost bin or in the trash, I put them on top of my soil, and then I try to work it in over time. I put compost on top of it. So, as I've mentioned before, in the high desert, because we have such dry air, unless I water all the time during the winter, a lot of this stuff just doesn't break down. It takes a long time. So what I do, and I've already done it this time of year, is I go through and I pull up the big stuff that didn't decompose. And so this is what's left, and I'm just going to plant around it because it's another good source of nutrients for the soil. And proof of that is over here in my herb garden. This area, and it'll be hard for you to see it probably, but this area gets all the leaves from the roses in the fall. When they die, fall and blow down here. And this soil, I'm going to see if I can show you. This soil is some of the best loose, really good soil. And I know it looks dry, but it is just full of nutrients. When you get down low, you can just see how healthy that soil is. So that's why it's good to let leaves sit in your garden and let the quote garden waste sit in your soil over winter and let it decompose. Let it bring more nutrients to your soil. All right, now I'm going to start planting. By the way, all of these tomato plants I grew from seed. So you can see these containers. I just reused containers that I get from the nurseries. So as always, I am going to put a little plantain in each hole before I plant. And I work it into the soil. And remember, there is no such thing as planting a tomato too deep because roots grow along that stem. So if you plant it, if it's getting leggy, and I've shown you this before, if it's getting too leggy and you want to make it a stronger stem, just plant it deeper and roots will come out of that stem. So tomatoes are so easy and so not fussy. What I'm doing is I am planting them by an emitter. So I'm making sure they are by one of the drip line emitters so they get appropriate water. These that I'm planting right now are all San Marzanos. You can see the soil is so good in this bed because I use compost along with composting my plants. I don't even need to use the spade that I brought. You can see my borage that I planted from seed out here a couple weeks ago, maybe, 2 weeks ago, is coming up. Now for the big cherry tomato that I overwintered in the garage. We're going to see if this will handle everything well. Bury this one deep, so it will also grow roots up the stem. This is not root bound, which is really good. That interesting. All of that, that's the roots it had. But like I said, I'm going to bury it even deeper. Just so it will have more of a success rate. And become stronger. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and plant this other tomato plant right next to it before I put the cage on top of this one so it's not in the way. And if I didn't already say so, this is a cherry tomato plant called a bumblebee tomato, bumblebee cherry. It actually, I've seen different names on it, but that's how it was listed in the seed packet that I bought. But it also, I've seen it called a zebra cherry tomato because it does get some stripes on it. They're very faint and it can be a little green looking. It's not like a bright red cherry, but they are delicious. So that's why I try to save seeds and save plants as much as I can. And I'll probably do some trimming after I put the cage over it. But right now I'm just going to let that go while I get this other one planted. This other one was an interesting little free seed packet I got. And it's called a spoon tomato. Let me show you what the tomatoes look like. They're tiny. So you can see it compared to my finger. But this one has been bearing in my garage for a while, so I just, when I'm out there watering plants, I just pick them, eat them. They're just kind of a fun little thing. It's a fun little variety. It's fun to grow fun things sometimes that are unusual. And like I said, this was a free seed packet I got from Baker Creek when I had an order last year. And it's just been fun to grow. I'm going to show you this in a minute, but these are actually several plants. As it was growing over the winter, I just took some cuttings and stuck them in beside the main one that was growing. Sometimes I do that in case the one that I'm growing doesn't make it. I have other chances. Alright, tomatoes are done. Now all I have to do is get my cages on and water. Got 1, 2, 3, and 4 actual plants in there. And I think it'll be fine if I see that some of them start getting choked out by the others. I'll just cut them down. But I'm going to try it and see if it works fine with all 4. One other thing that I really like to do that some of my friends like to kid me about, I'm a pretty organized person, and I actually like to put tags on my plants. And not on every single one of them, but because I grow different varieties of things, and I want to know from year to year how well a certain variety does to see if I want to grow it the next year, I tag them. So I just use these little copper plated tags that just stick in the ground, and I use the garden marker, a garden marker, to write the name on there, and that way I know what it is. The other benefit of this, especially with my herbs, is that my husband may not know all the herbs that I grow, and if he's helping me cook and I ask him if he could go to the garden and get me some oregano, he knows exactly where the oregano is because there's a tag on the oregano. So it's helpful for many reasons. That's my last step other than watering. One last time, I've got one of the spoon tomatoes, one of the bumblebee cherry tomatoes, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 of the San Marzanos. So the reason I grow so many is I love making salsa, I love canning tomatoes, I just love the taste of a San Marzano. It's really good. I'm a foodie, I love to cook. Now I will come back with my watering can and give these a really good watering. And I may also bring the hose out here before I actually turn the irrigation system on. I do like to give them a really good deep watering right after I plant them. Again, to help give them a good chance, a better chance of survival and not get too stressed out, because it doesn't matter how much you've acclimated them, they're still going through a little bit of stress because you're taking them out of a pot that they were growing in, you're disturbing them a little bit, and you're planting them in the ground, you're planting them outside of the area that you had been acclimating them in. So I want to do everything I can to give them the best opportunity to grow their biggest and best. So I just give them a good deep watering. And as you can already see, some of them are already looking a little wilted. That's okay, they will bounce back. Tomatoes are pretty tough plants. Now we're going to plant our peppers. So I went a little crazy this year. I grew purple cayenne from seed, all these from seed. I grew early jalapenos, lemon spice jalapenos, bell peppers, and hatch green chilies. So I have 29 plants that I'm going to plant, and I'm going to cram them in here. And so we're going to have plenty of peppers this year. Again, I like to can, I like to make salsa, I like to cook, so it sounds like a lot, but it's the right amount for us. So here I go. Grub worm. I find these occasionally, Grubworms, if you don't know, are the larvae of a Japanese beetle, and we don't want them. So when I find them, I toss them over my wall to feed the birds. They actually will eat your roots too of your plants, so if you find them, get rid of them. Now I want to give you a tip about these pots since I am using these. I bought these, and you can see they're pretty flimsy, but they have lasted for 3 years. This is the 3rd season I've used them. I bought them at the dollar store. I don't even know how many in a pack, 12 in a pack or something like that. But the nice thing about them, other than that they are lasting, is because they're flimsy, it's so easy to get the plants out of them. You just squeeze it, because it does squeeze, it's not hard plastic, and they pop out really easily. So there's a tip for you. I'm putting these pretty close, because I actually saw somebody who did that with their peppers. They said plant them really close, and they had an amazing harvest. You know, we're told by the garden industry, plant things so many feet apart, but when you watch a home gardener have success with something, I actually learn from them, because their environment is closer to mine. And if it's successful for them, I'm going to at least try it once. May not work for me. Maybe their conditions are different, but it's worth trying. And so that's why I'm packing them in. One of the things that this gardener talked about was when you pack them in close, they support each other. So again, we have winds here in the high desert. If I can create an environment for my peppers where they are supporting each other from the wind, all the better. So I'm trying it this year. I didn't video it, but I did plant my zucchini and honey nut squash seeds directly into my garden. Not a lot to see here, but just wanted to let you know that I did do that same time that I planted my peppers and my tomatoes. And then I came back with my garden hose and gave everything a really, really good deep watering. I hope you enjoyed this video and it was helpful for you. Thanks for watching and have a great day.